It's the game that made fans everywhere jump more than a few times and showcased its own unique horror episodic style. Here to show us what Alan Wake has been up to these last 13 years are two of the minds behind its sequel from Remedy Games, writer and creative director Sam Lake and game director Kyle Rowley. Welcome to you both. First off, how are you? Are you well?
Thank you. Thank you. Great Gamescom.
Yeah.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah.
Given that Alan Wake's journey began with Xbox.
There
and
we go,
Microsoft.
back on the green carpet,
Yes.
chatting
So,
about it again.
feels proper to be here.
It feels correct,
yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah, wonderful. Right, well, while we're going to be talking, we're actually going to be having some gameplay on in the background for Twitch chat to have a look at. It's going to be some new at Gamescom footage we're going to be going through. So while that's on, I'd love to talk a little bit more about some of the new elements that fans can expect to see in Alan Wake 2.
Sam, you want to start?
Yeah.
I
I mean, it is a sequel, but also, given that it comes out 13 years after the first game, there are plenty of new elements.
Let's go through them all one by one.
we really felt that we want to create a modern experience, and we could not have done this game. We have been building concepts of Alan Wake 2 through all of these years.
It's not like you picked it up last week and decided to do something with it.
But this one we could not have made before building Control first, which was our previous game. A lot of learnings with each project that we were able to then bring into this one. Elements like hub-like design for the environments, the whole game genre being a horror game now, a lot more ambition on interactive storytelling in this, and the concept of Remedy Connected Universe, which we established with Control. So Control and Alan Wake belong into the same world, and there are connection points and crossover elements in it.
Oh, how exciting. I also want to touch very slightly on the name itself. Alan Wake 2, it's a sequel, but the name is very fitting because, as I say, not only is it a sequel, but you play as two characters. So I was wondering who wants to tell me about Saga and how their story intertwines with Alan.
Yeah, there are a lot of tools in this experience. Two playable characters.
It's a recurring theme.
Yes. Alan Wake, of course, but then our new Remedy hero character, FBI agent Saga Anderson, who comes in and the player with her comes into this experience playing Saga. She is a newcomer to this supernatural world of Alan Wake.
Yeah.
She knows nothing before. She's a profiler, FBI agent, comes in to investigate these ritualistic murders in the Pacific Northwest. And then it starts to spiral out of control from there. So we have two worlds, essentially. We have the Pacific Northwest. We have three separate hub areas. The small town of Bright Falls, the majestic Cauldron Lake, this Caldera Lake, and the surrounding forests, and then the neighboring town of Watery. And you get to explore all of these hub areas.
I love that you're describing them as these beautiful places to go check out. They're going to be horrific naturally, right?
It's a wonderful place to go on a vacation.
I don't think you're telling me the truth at all.
I think we had in the art direction Bible, we said terrifyingly beautiful was one of the things that we were kind of like talking about.
Well, once again, kind of two extremes coming together.
The juxtaposition of it.
Exactly, like us on stage.
Exactly.
Right now.
I mean, you're doing it right now.
I mean,
exactly. I feel like I should have got a tie on.
All carefully considered.
The theme that runs through the whole of our lives, I think.
But yeah, like a lot of duality, light and darkness, obviously at the very core of Alan Wake experience. You use light as safety and as a weapon, and the supernatural darkness is your enemy. But then you go on a journey playing Saga on this murder investigation, but you are also playing as Alan Wake, trapped in the nightmare dimension of the dark place that takes the shape of this nightmarish New York City this time around. And that's one big hub of its own where we are unlocking new areas for you to explore as you progress. So these exist side by side, and you are able to choose and hop between them as you want going through this experience.
And you're not just knowledgeable as the creative director, I guess, Sam, but you're in the game as well, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, I think you are a little bit.
Yeah, I have to say, like, it's teamwork and it's collaboration more than anything, as always making video games is, but wanting to make this game so long, and it's kind of very special to me. I just felt that I want to go all in.
Yeah.
So we are.
So was it you that stepped forward and said, "Can I be in the game, please?"
We are co-directing with Kyle. I'm co-writing the story and the screenplay, and yes, I'm acting as Alex Casey, who is Saga's FBI partner, but also a fictional character that Alan Wake used to write about for years and years.
Oh, very smart.
But I'm doing half of the performance, really. I'm the physical actor.
You're just doing one arm and a leg.
And yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the hair.
And the wonderful James McCaffrey is the voice of Alex Casey.
Nice. Okay, I'm looking to see how that plays out. I don't know if you've had a moment though. I keep looking in chat, and chat is absolutely so excited for this game. Sweet Tooth, they're saying almost as beautiful as me. Sweet Tooth, I bet you're gorgeous. Are you as gorgeous as Alan Wake? Then I don't know. The next question I want to ask, completely distracted there, sorry, is I want to know more. You mentioned more about the horror element that you're leaning into, and Remedy have really gone into this not just survival game, but a survival horror game. What does that mean?
Over to you.
Yeah, over to me. Yeah, I mean, that all started from us looking back at, Alan Wake 1, what we as the team kind of really liked about Alan Wake 1.
so distracted.
He's just loving his coffee or whatever he's drinking in there. Yeah, so we're looking back at Alan Wake 1 and, what did we like? What did we think we could improve upon? And one of the things that we kind of came to a conclusion of quite quickly was that we just come off making Max Payne when we did Alan Wake 1, so we're kind of very good at making this kind of fast-paced action gameplay. But the story we were telling was a bit more on psychological horror style. So for this one, we really wanted to make sure that those two elements, the story and the gameplay, were kind of really connected. So creating a more cohesive experience. So that kind of led us to the idea of, okay, why don't we make this like a survival horror game? And instantly when we were talking about that, we were like, wait a minute, we should have done this to begin with.
Yeah.
You were scared before, wait until this.
Yeah, exactly. But survival horror, I think, with the type of stories that we like to tell, and the skills that we feel like we're very good at the studio, like world building and building a sense of place and atmosphere. I think that the horror genre in general, we feel like that's a kind of perfect fit for us as a studio. And then on top of that that genre as a whole, it kind of allows us to kind of slow the gameplay down. We can focus more on the world. We can focus more on the environments and the environmental storytelling. And then we can use kind of that atmosphere to kind of build a sense of dread or a sense of threat as you're kind of progressing through the game. So for us, it just felt like a very natural fit. And then, I think that fight with light that kind of Sam was talking about before, light versus darkness, those kind of core themes just fit inside the horror genre very well. And, from a gameplay perspective, we tried to, it's still a sequel to the first game which we made, so we still wanted to keep that, fight with light concept in there. But we've slowed the gameplay down a bit more. Enemies are more threatening, they have more presence, there's less of them, you're fighting less of them throughout the course of the game. But yeah, it just felt like a very nice fit.
I like the way there's lots of different elements to play in this. You mentioned before the control connection with the universe as well. Is there anything more you can share with that universe connection and how they play together?
Yeah, the way we are approaching games now with Remedy Connected Universe is that it is very, very important for us to create, each game is a world of its own. These are big things. So we feel it needs to be approachable to everybody, not just Remedy fans.
Yeah, not just the mega nerds.
Yeah, which is we absolutely love that.
Oh, we love a mega nerd. Don't get me wrong.
Because we are the same way ourselves, but at the same time, it shouldn't feel like homework.
Yes.
I need to play the first game. I need to play Control. You don't, and that is part of the reason why Saga is such a perfect new hero character. She doesn't know anything when she comes into this, and she's learning and the player is learning.
Sure.
However, them, under the surface, it is very layered and very deep, and
one of
there
those
are
if you know, you know kind of things. But
There-
it's,
there
you don't
is-
have to
there's a
know
ton
all
of
the
that
little
stuff,
bits.
yeah.
there is a ton to be discovered,
Yeah.
ton of connection points, and taking certain threads further in the universe. So, yeah.
All right, okay. I'm challenging you to find them all. So
You've
I've got to
been
be.
finding them already. Like,
Yeah, they probably are watching
yeah.
it. You know what they're like. I have to be totally honest as well. We've been sat around the back, hanging out during the show, speaking with the different guests. Aaron Greenberg came by and would not stop talking about how impressed he was with the demo that he saw, and we saw you on his Instagram. So as well as the time you spent with Aaron, I'd love to know what's the reaction been like from opening night live and your Gamescom so far.
It's been wonderful.
Good, like that, yeah.
And it's always so important. Like we are not done yet. We are on the final stretch. We are on final stretch, and there is a ton of work, as there always is. So back home, the wonderful, talented Remedy team is working on this, but you know, when you keep working on a project like this for years, you start to be blind to it,
Yes.
and second guessing yourself and being uncertain. So it's really, really important for us to be able to come here, show material, get reactions, and especially when it's very, very positive reactions.
Yeah, of course.
It's a big energy boost to everybody working on the game, and very, very important.
I imagine it makes you excited to get the plane back so you can go finish it and do a bit more like, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, we've still got some work to done. But
we do. Yes.
Perfect. Well, that leads me perfectly on to my very final question, and that is, when does everyone at home need to mark their calendars? When does Alan Wake 2 release?
Alan Wake, you were looking at me. Alan Wake 2 comes out on October 27th. So not long to go.
Not long at all. October continues to be very, very busy. Cheers to that. Thank you both, Sam and Kyle, for joining me today. Alan Wake 2 looks horrifically delightful, I think, with the
Thank you. Welcome. We have a great show for you here tonight. Alan Wake is here. Alan Wake, one of my all-time favorite writers and guests on the show. He's here to talk about his latest book. And as usual, our house band, the old gods of Asgard, is here. Take it away, you crazy Vikings!
On a talk show tonight. Waking up in places with no memory of how I'd gotten there. It was out of control. I didn't need another mugshot in the fucking tabloids. Had I already done the show?
Give a warm welcome to Mr. Alan Wake. Alan! Good to see you, Alan. Great to see you. Welcome back to the show. Come on, sit down. Woo! Oh, man. It is so good to see you, Alan. This must be an exciting time for you. Tell me, does it ever get old?
So does what get old?
Publishing a new book. Are you okay there, my friend? You look like you've been cooped up in the writer's room for a few too many years.
This is exactly how I feel.
You know, I've waited so long to get my hands on the sequel to Departure. You left us on quite the cliffhanger. We've all been dying to know what "it's not a lake, it's an ocean" really means.
You and me both.
Well, our wait is over. Your new book, Initiation, hits the shelves tomorrow.
What?
That's exactly what every reader will be asking.